Lesson one, we're talking about classifications of animals. We already went through our interactive sheet, and so I'm going to read this chapter to you so that you have an option to listen and follow along with me. Classification, grouping living things. If you were asked to go to the grocery store to buy fresh peaches, how would you find them? You know how your grocery store is set up, so you would probably go to the produce department and find the fruit section. There you would look for peaches. If a store decided to put some fruit with the cereal and some meat, finding peaches would be much more difficult. Like grocery shoppers, scientists need to be able to find things easily. Just as you did with the shoes in the investigation, scientists look at living things and identify their characteristics. They then group together living things that have similar features. This act of grouping things by using a set of rules is called classification. And look, classification. That's the phonetic spelling. And the question that I have for you is, how do scientists group living things? It seems like they just said that somewhere up here. So in ours, it says the five kingdoms. That's been updated to six kingdoms, and see if you can identify the new one in the BrainPop video that you're going to watch. But the five of the six kingdoms are animal kingdom, plant kingdom, fungi kingdom, Protus kingdom, and Monorans kingdom. Okay? Grouping by similarities and differences. Scientists classify for many reasons. Classifying living things makes it easier to find and share information about them. When scientists discover a new living thing, classification can show how the new living thing relates to others that are already classified. All living things can be classified into one of the five kingdoms, and now it's six, right? A kingdom is the largest group into which living things can be classified. Every member of a kingdom has some characteristics that are the same as those of the other members. For example, the bacterium shown on page A6 is a monoram. Every member of the monoram kingdom is only one cell. The cell has no nucleus or control center. Compare the bacterium to the uh, param- paramecium on page A6. Paramecia are protists. The most members of the protist kingdom are also one cell. However, each cell does have a nucleus. So there's the difference, right, between the protist and a monoran. Fungi make up a third kingdom. Fungi have nuclei, and most are many celled. They look like plants, but they can't make their own food as plants do. You have eaten fungi if you've ever eaten mushrooms. Plants and animals make up the other two kingdoms. Every day, you see members of these two kingdoms, such as grass, flowers, cats, and dogs. So, the question I have for you is, how are monorans and protists the same, and how are they different? And so, they went through that here and here. Okay, a little comparing and contrasting. Forming smaller groups. Classification doesn't stop at the kingdom level. Scientists studied the living things in each kingdom to see how they are alike and how they are different. They used characteristics to make smaller and smaller groups, and they gave each smaller group a name. The most specific classification groups have only one type of living thing. The chart below shows how brown bears can be classified by using this method. Most living things have a common name, such as a brown bear, but common names may be different in different places. It's important to have names that scientists everywhere recognize. For this reason, scientists name animals with the labels of two smallest classification groups. The name of the second smallest group, the genus, is joined with the name of the smallest group, the species. For example, the specific name for a house cat is Felis domesticus, and a brown bear is called Ursus arctos. How do scientists form smaller groups of living things? So take a look. Here's all living things right here. So now the next thing says the kingdom. Which living things are animals? Kingdoms, right? Here are all the animals, right? You have spider, lizard, elephant, cats, dogs. Which animals have backbones? All right, so it eliminated the spider. Which vertebrates have hair? All right, we're looking at mammalia or mammals. Here we go. Which mammals have sharp front teeth for tearing food, such as meat? All right, carnivores. That narrows it down. See, now the elephant's not in there. Which sharp toothed animals are bears? All right, so now we have three different types of bears. Which bears have fur that is just one color? Okay, so the genus, you have the polar bear and the brown bear. Which one color bear is a brown bear? Species, Ursus actos, the brown bear. See how we narrowed it all the way down to the brown bear. All right. Forming smaller groups. Classification doesn't stop at the kingdom level. Scientists studied the living things in each kingdom to see how they are alike and how they are different. I already read this. Okay, so good. That's what we just went through. Summary. Scientists organize living things to make studying and discussing them easier. Scientists classify all living things into five kingdoms, well, now six: monorans, protists, fungi, plants, and animals. The five, well, actually now six kingdoms are divided into smaller groups, right? All right. So I'll read you review questions. Review. Why do scientists organize information about living things? What are the five kingdoms of living things? Now there's six, so you're going to have to use the video. How do scientists name each type of living thing? Critical thinking. There are probably millions of living things that scientists haven't discovered yet. If scientists were to find a living thing that didn't fit into any of the five kingdoms, what would they need to do? Well, that's interesting because I just told you it went from five to six. Test prep. Which kingdom contains one celled living things without a nuclei? All right, well, there it is. There's the chapter. Good luck. Tadero out.